At 8:13, it's time for Scott Slade's Georgia, every Thursday morning at this time. In fact, sponsored by Breda Pest Management. Good morning, sir. I wish you could see how close together my fingers are. We are this close, I understand, to getting our country's 64th. It will be National Park.
Indeed. Chris, good morning. And I've been following the effort to give Georgia its first ever national park. We don't have one yet. We have national historic parks, a national battlefield park, a national seashore, even a national historic trail, but not a national park per se. We are closer than ever to getting one, however, and I'll tell you about that in just a moment. But first, down a rabbit hole. A conglomeration of indigenous people known as the Mississippians reaches back for some 12,000 years. They ranged from Florida, Georgia, Alabama, northward to Wisconsin. Mississippians were pretty smart. They decided that agriculture was more predictable than hunting and gathering, and they perfected the cultivation of the three sisters, corn, beans, and squash. They were builders and had an organized social order. The Mississippians went on to found tribes you know, like the Seminole, the Cherokee, and the Muskogee Creek tribe in central Georgia. Which brings me back to the national park thing. The Mississippians built 7 mounds at Ocmulgee, now the awe-inspiring Ocmulgee Mounds National Historic Park that sits on the north side of Macon. They were thought to be built around 900 A.D. These huge mounds served as meeting places and mortuaries, as well as foundations for civic meeting houses and homes for VIPs back in the day. Now, a bipartisan, nearly unanimous Georgia congressional delegation thinks it deserves to become Georgia's first national park. One of them is 8th District Congressman Austin Scott.
It's been a bipartisan piece of legislation. It continues to be a bipartisan piece of legislation. The Muskogee Creek Nation has been wonderful to work with, and all of the stakeholders out there, who have supported this, we appreciate and just hope we're able to get it across the finish line this time.
And by any measure, Georgia is due to get a national park.
I agree. We are overdue. This is Central Georgia. It's a great location. You've got I-75, you've got 16 to get you close, no matter where you're coming from.
And the difference between being a national historic park and a outright national park?
Well, it just elevates the status of the park in a lot of people's eyes. And there are a lot of families out there that each year, one of their trips is take a trip to a national park. And so that certainly puts us on that list, a list that we're not on right now for a lot of American families. It's great for tourism in the area. And then I do think, with the increased boundaries, hopefully there'll be increased recreational opportunities for people.
Mm-hmm. The boundary will be the same as the National Historic Park now for the Ocmulgee Mounds, with about 2,800 acres, plus an additional 7,000 acres of preserve. We'll see where it goes from here. As you know, the current atmosphere in Washington centers on cuts instead of expansion. But it wouldn't take much to make the Ocmulgee Mounds a national park. The infrastructure's pretty much in place. And Chris, as we say in Georgia, we're due.
How cool would that be? How cool would that be?
Extremely. And just like Representative Scott said, people like to tick off lists like national parks.
They do.
The 64th national park could very well be within easy driving distance of Atlanta.
It would be a point of pride. All right, sir, thank you. We will talk to you next week.
Great to be with you.